With the GoCurrency.com sports ticker, I'm Greg Sharpe. With a bye week for the Huskers, it's given interim head coach Mickey Joseph some time to reflect on the first 4 games. Earlier this week, he was asked how he thought quarterback Casey Thompson and his wide receivers have played through the first 4 games.
I was disappointed that we put the ball on the ground twice because they know the rules. The person that's going to strip the ball is the person you don't see, and it happened twice. What happened with Trey and Isaiah. So I'm disappointed with that, and they understand that, and Cass is going to get that fixed. We're not happy about that, and Casey's got to make throws. Casey's got to make third down throws, and he understands that.
Huskers will face Indiana on October the 1st at 6:30. There is a Big Ten football game tonight. Illinois hosts Tennessee Chattanooga, kickoff at 7:30. Also an NFL game this evening as the Pittsburgh Steelers take on their division rivals, the Cleveland Browns. The Husker men's basketball schedule was updated today with tip times and TV appearances for the upcoming season. The complete update can be found at Huskers.com. We also learned today that the Nebraska Board of Regents will be considering allowing alcohol sales this season at Pinnacle Bank Arena when they meet next Friday. That would be for both the men's and women's games. Afternoon scores in Major League Baseball. The Rangers turned back the Angels 5-3. The Royals completed a sweep over the Twins, beating Minnesota 4-1. The Giants over the Rockies 3-0. The Mariners blasted the Athletics 9-5. The rest of the baseball is under the lights. In the golf world, the United States has taken a 4-1 lead in the President's Cup. Today's format was alternate shot. They're back on the course in North Carolina tomorrow. Husker soccer continues league play tonight as they host 8th-ranked Northwestern, with the action starting at 7:05 at Hibner Stadium. This update presented by Currency. Does your business need help financing big-ticket items like equipment, trucks, and trailers? Currency is here to help. Visit GoCurrency.com for details. Now get ready. Sports Alley is coming up next on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Good pass by Kubik outside set. Whitney Lonstein, kaboom! You can only try to slow her down. You can't stop Whitney. Boy, she's gravity's worst enemy.
Give it off to Grant. He picks his way inside the 45, bounces to the outside, 40, 35, 30, foot race now, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Nebraska.
Now outside Mississippi, blocked. Kalen Horn, Whitney Lonstein, that's a combined 13 feet of humanity. We're tied at 19 in Lincoln.
Snap back to Casey. Throws downfield looking for Trey Palmer. He goes up, and did he hang on at the 37-yard line? He did. What a grab by Trey Palmer.
Beautiful pass, back set. Lindsey Krause, kaboom! 19-18, Big Red.
Chancellor Brewington in the game to block. They fake the handoff. Casey rolls out, flips it out in the flat. Brewington makes a catch. He's going to go down to the goal line. Touchdown, Nebraska. Going to roll out, flip to Chancellor Brewington, and he scores. It's his second career Husker touchdown.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
I'm excited for tonight. I mean, yeah, the show, but we got NFL football, we have Big Ten football, we have Husker soccer tonight. It's a pretty good night.
A big game out there for Husker soccer against number 9 Northwestern. And do we have Amazon Prime in the studio?
We do not. Sorry.
Andrew, can you get that?
Andrew. He's going to be.
Can you make that happen?
We might not even get on the air the second hour because Andrew's such a big Steelers guy. He may not. He may be watching his phone the whole hour and not able to keep us in bay. But yeah, and you know the Amazon. Speaking of that, I saw today their numbers were really good last week, and it was a great matchup. Chiefs Chargers. It was a really good matchup, but it was like over 14 million watched that game.
Oh, yeah.
Huge numbers.
Yep. And I was watching something today. It was with John Arend. Yeah. Yep. With the Sports Business Journal. And he said streaming is where it's going, which we've talked a lot about. It's not going away. It's only going to keep being more and more of an emphasis. But still, the big money and the big numbers are always going to be from broadcast television.
Correct.
That's not going away anywhere, but there's still going to be a push for streaming services.
Yeah. So, yeah, Amazon Prime, this is their second run at it for the NFL. Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit calling those games for them on Thursday nights this year. And again,
here's one thing that I wish they'd do, just because – you know, a lot of times if it's streaming, there's another game that you can watch on TV, and I understand that you want to push more people towards the streaming, but maybe have 2 games on at one time, so that you have one on the typical NFL network. It was on Fox last year, right?
Yep.
And then have the other one on the streaming, so that you're still getting two options there for the people that absolutely do not want to stream.
I agree. And I'm a little surprised the NFL Network is invested in their own network. Why they don't put some games on there?
Well, they did. They
did last year, but they're not this year.
But that's what I'm saying. It'd be nice if there was an option for that, because most of the time, if you're watching college football and you've got a team that's on a streaming platform, there's other games on at the same time. So, I wish there'd be an option for people. And I get they want to drive those numbers up, but the numbers would still be good if you've got a good matchup on that streaming service. Maybe put a bad matchup on TV.
Right. Well, so if you're looking for something to do in your Lincoln tonight, go out and root on the Huskers tonight, playing some soccer out there at Hibner Stadium. I know you can get back and watch the second half of the NFL game and the Illinois game, but get out there and root them on. They had a really good crowd last week. They had 1,400 for their Minnesota match last week. I know it was hot dog night, but tonight's not. But yeah, get out there, and we'll be monitoring that during hour number 2 of the program. All right. Big news today. You've probably been following on other shows around the state today, or if you've been on social media. The Board of Regents, which meets 3 or 4 times a year, maybe a little bit more than that, but they've got a meeting coming up next week, the 30th of September, and they always drop the agenda of items that will be discussed a week or so in advance. This morning they dropped an agenda that has 3 really big items that involve Husker athletics. And one involves all of us, too, because it's the MMR, which is the multimedia rights, which encompasses radio, signage you may see inside the stadium, game programs, those type of things, corporate outings, all that falls under that multimedia rights banner. That's one. It's going to be going to a company called Playfly. That will be voted on next week. They also are looking for some waiver of these are more government regulations about processing to get new things built on a campus, and they're asking for some leniency to go ahead and do some pre-planning on some projects that involve where we're sitting here, the stadium, and I think that's going to go through. The one that probably most people perked up was the beer sales at PBA, and I understand that that's an issue for some people, but a lot of places, and Jessica, you've been to a lot of them as well, they do serve alcohol at games and don't have a whole lot of problems, and Nebraska's going to try it now with hoops.
Well, and the infrastructure is in place. They sell alcohol during concerts. It's already there. Right. They did it during wrestling, Big Ten wrestling. But yeah, I was looking up, so it's still 8 teams that sell alcohol in football for the Big Ten, right? How many basketball? Is it those 8 too? I didn't know.
I don't know.
So, it's just a lot of places are moving towards that, but hey, give it a run with it already being in PBA and see how it goes. And I think a lot of fans will enjoy that. It happened when I was at Oklahoma, that transition of not having alcohol and then having alcohol, and most people, it was a really big positive, and it's crazy, it actually helped attendance. And I know that's not as big of an issue here with programs, but for a lot of places, it has helped in that regard, that you can, buy alcohol at these places while you're watching a game, whatever. And so, because a lot of people might go to the bar and watch a game on TV, but you can go in person now. And I get it's an issue, some people have their opinions on it, but for places that have issues with attendance, it has helped in that regard.
Right. Yeah, and you're right, because attendance really isn't a big issue at Nebraska because we sell so many tickets to most of our events, and it doesn't cover any of the other sports. It's not football, it's not volleyball or wrestling or anything at the Vanny, and it's not anything out at Haymarket Park for baseball. Yet. That could come, it's not, but not yet. So Chancellor Green's going to join us here in a little bit. We're going to cover all 3 of those things, get his thoughts about all of that. And the one that, obviously that's a big one. To me, though, we know there has to be some work done here.
Yes.
This is 100 years old. This stadium is, and particularly for our friends who sit South Stadium, that needs some work. South Stadium hasn't been touched really since it was built in 1968. And if you need to go to the bathroom and you're sitting toward the top, you got to go all the way down. That needs to be done. And they know they get one crack to do it and do it right. So they're going to put a lot of thought into this over the coming years. I don't know when you put a shovel of dirt on that project. It still could be 3, 4, 5 years out, but they got to start the planning now.
Yeah, and I am not the kind of the mumbo jumbo jargon, the legal stuff. It goes over my head a little bit, but my perspective, it sounds like it's going to make it easier to initiate planning.
It is.
And so that...
It's to put the plan before the plan.
Yeah, so it can kind of, be a long, drawn-out process just being a university and a state entity, but this is going to help move plans along a little bit easier and faster, I think.
Right. So those will all be voted up or down next Friday, and so today, and a lot of things have been written and said already today because President Carter, Chancellor Green, and Athletic Director Trev Alberts did meet with a handful of media folks earlier today, and they kind of outlined their thought process, how they got to these points with all three of these things in wait for the meeting next week. So looking forward to what Chancellor has to say with us here in a couple of minutes. And if you have some thoughts about any of these, certainly love to hear those as well at 402-413-2400. That is our Sports Nightly hotline, which is brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime with 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. So, a busy day in the sports world. And then later in the program, we're going to do our picks because tomorrow we have a very short show, and I didn't want to shorten because I think people like to hear what we have to pick for games. So we're going to do that in hour number 2.
I can't wait. I always enjoy that. By the way, had a question in the chat about your bracelet, which we're also going to get to. So that's the More is Possible bracelet, the celebration that we're having, the year-long celebration for Title IX.
Title IX, yeah.
So they gave those away yesterday, and you'll be able to get those and T-shirts at the More is Possible rally coming up, too.
October the 8th.
Yes.
At Bowlin Stadium, the Huskers are going to have a fall ball scrimmage later that day, but all the women's programs are going to be out there. And so they want a huge crowd out there on the day. We'll be telling you a lot more about it as we get closer to the 8th. But that's coming up.
It's going to be exciting. Awesome celebration. We started it back closer to when the actual date was back in June, but it's a year-long celebration celebrating the 50th anniversary of Title IX, and we've got things going out throughout the entire year, but that's the next big event that we'll be having is that More is Possible rally.
They're noticing that I got a bracelet on.
So they wanted to know, and I thought perfect timing because, I got one too, but I took it off.
Possible.
So, but I think, those will be available out at the rally and T-shirts. The T-shirts are sweet too.
Good.
So, and I was told those are for sale too on the Huskers.
I think you can go to the Huskers Authentic stores here in town and get those.
I think that's where you can buy those. Yep.
Also, speaking of Title IX, Chris Anderson, who was, if not one of the first women to be a sports information director for college football for the Huskers in the early 90s. She was honored at the game last week. You had a chance to catch up with her. We're going to hear some of that very interesting conversation in hour 2.
Yeah, and I think people don't even realize, I guess, some of those roles that happen, like the sports information, what all goes into that. And especially back then, before social media, and then also who doesn't love Tom Osborne stories, right? So we dive into all of that.
You think about that time, Jessica, and you did one of these 6 months or so ago with Pat Logson, who was the director of ops for Coach Osborne. And then you had Chris Anderson was the sports information with Coach Osborne in the early 90s. That's kind of unheard of, really, around the country.
Yeah, at the same time, and Pat Logson was the first, and then Chris Anderson probably the first, and it just goes to show, and we've talked a lot about that in a lot of different areas, but especially for giving women opportunities. Tom Osborne was way ahead of his time and didn't care if you're the best person for the job, didn't care if it was a man or woman, and he had that foresight to put people in the positions that he thought could be there and do a good job, and didn't care if it was a woman and it hadn't been done before. And so it's very inspiring, and it's been neat. And again, at the time, nobody even thought of it that way because it was just Tom Osborne made him feel so comfortable in that role, but it was so ahead of the time at the time. And there's 2 women that had significant roles for a big-time football program at the time. It wasn't like it was a team that wasn't winning.
Right.
Chris signs on and then wins back-to-back national titles.
How about that?
So, it was a very, very big deal at the time. And so, and again, you think about even Trev Alberts winning the Buckus. It was so different then when you had, not everybody was on TV all the time, so you had to do big campaigns, and you had to make sure people saw your players. And so we go into that and what she had to do to make sure media entities across the state or across the country were seeing what Trev Alberts was doing to vote for him for the Buckus. Like all those, there's so many national award winners that you had to do that for back then. And so I thought that was fascinating. All those conversations, I really enjoyed it. So I hope you guys look forward to it too.
Chris is no longer with the athletic department, but she is with Coach Osborne. She's working with his Teammates Foundation, and really, I think, loving the work with that as well. So Busy show, and plenty of time for you to jump on board as well. 402-413-2400, the number if you want to be a part of all of this tonight. When we come back, we will sit down with the Chancellor from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Ronnie Green. That's coming up next.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there is no place that treats you like your home like Sept Brothers. For over 50 years, Sept Brothers has fueled America's heartland and has been a reliable partner to local farms, businesses, and Huskers fans across Nebraska, providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment, and welcoming guests into our travel centers. Visit www.sapbros.net. Sept Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Both farmers and Division I athletes are alike in that every season presents a new opportunity. Aurora Cooperative does what they always do, which is lean into every new opportunity. They focus on their roots and continue to stay tougher together with their farmer owners. These core beliefs are much like those of committed Husker athletes. Aurora Cooperative leans on their values of a strong work ethic to get any job done for their producers. Aurora Cooperative, tougher together. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdownsforteachers.
Preparation. It's the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pre-game routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Every day, Central Valley Ag supplies ranchers with calf starter to prompt maximum absorption of nutrients, so calves transition in days, not weeks. Let CVA help you formulate the right plan to ensure weaning success in your herd. Register to win 40 bags of CVA Impact Starter with Amafirm when you go online to cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Backed by popular demand, Hy-Vee drive-through flu shot clinics. Just follow the signs in your Hy-Vee parking lot to get your flu shot right from your car. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment or prescription is necessary. Drive-through flu shots are offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 7 p.m. Or get your flu shot inside your Hy-Vee pharmacy at any time with no appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, you get a 20-cent Hy-Vee fuel saver. Some restrictions apply.
Farmers Mutual of Nebraska is proud to support Husker athletics. Having a confident teammate beside you makes all the difference when it comes to protecting what matters most. With a proven track record of dependable coverage, unmatched financial strength, and a prompt claim service team right here in Nebraska, that's insurance kept local. Visit fmne.com to contact an agent for a quote today. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy, from repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center. It is sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Well, as everyone knows, earlier today, the Board of Regents meeting agenda for next Friday dropped, and there were three really big issues that will affect the university and Husker athletics in particular. We're delighted to be joined by the Chancellor of UNL, Ronnie Green, here tonight. Usually the agenda comes out a week or so in advance, so it came out today, and you did meet with some folks in the media today just to kind of explain some of the things. And these are three pretty big items that are going to be voted on next week.
Yeah, they are, Greg. They're big, they're important, they're kind of transformational in a lot of ways. Things for Husker athletics and for our fan base in Husker athletics in particular. The Board of Regents meets next Friday at the University of Nebraska-Kearney. They're meeting in the Kearney location this particular meeting, and these three items are on their agenda, so kind of pending Board of Regents approval on the 30th. They all are ones that have a big future impact on Husker athletics. The first is a new 15-year multimedia rights contract that's been in development for some time. As some will know, we went inside to Husker athletics with Husker Athletic Partners, formation a year ago. At the end of our agreement that we had previously with Learfield IMG for all of our multimedia rights. So this first item is kind of transformational in putting those multimedia rights back into a private contract with Playfly, who is proposed to be our new partner in that space, and is a 15-year contract that is very nationally leading in many ways for Husker athletics. So that's one of the agenda items up for consideration by the board. A second item relates to the provision of alcohol at Pinnacle Bank Arena for our men's and women's basketball games moving forward, again pending approval by the board with this upcoming season for 2022. This has been under consideration for some time. Pinnacle Bank Arena is a joint public authority complex here. We opened that in 2013 very successfully. We've had 9 seasons of our Husker men's and women's basketball teams in that facility, and it is set up well for the provision of alcohol. We've been talking about this for some time, and that is now also up for approval on a 2-year pilot with Pinnacle Bank Arena. It'll give us an opportunity to see how this works, what it looks like, before we consider, at the end of that 2 years, how we continue to move ahead. And then the third item is one that's allowing us to plan, if you will. Next year, 1923, looking back 100 years ago when Memorial Stadium was built. We'll have our 100th anniversary of the iconic Memorial Stadium here at the University of Nebraska. And there's been a lot of conversation and also a lot of planning and thinking about what the needs are in Memorial Stadium for the next 50 years, for the next long period of time of its history. And this third item is asking the board to waive a couple of their processes in the way we do capital planning and construction at the university that will allow us to put a planning and design step that would normally happen after the board approves a program statement for a new project. So think Go Big, the project that we're now completing in the way that was done, but to move that process ahead of the program statement and allow us to plan a greater length of time back ahead of that. So all three of these are big items for the board. Looking forward to that board meeting next Friday in Kearney.
Chancellor, as it relates to the alcoholic PBA, how much of that was based on revenue generation just compared to fan amenities? Because we're always trying to make sure the fan is having a good experience.
It's primarily based on fan amenities. So I know your listeners know this is not a new topic. There's been a lot of conversation about, is alcohol provision important to our fans, as important part of that fan experience, and can it be done safely and effectively and efficiently, all of those kinds of things. And this is really about the fan experience and the fan amenities. As I said, Pinnacle Bank Arena is it's an easier path for us because they operate the facility. This would be under their operation, and they're prepared and obviously do that, and are professionals at doing that already. So that is the reason we're considering PBA as the first step in this process with alcohol provision in Husker sports.
Major survey went out last spring to Husker Nation. What did they respond? Over 20-some thousand people took the time to fill that out.
Right.
How valuable was that, and how much is that helping you as you start to plan, as you talked about upgrading this place?
I think Trev has said, Trev Alberts, our AD, who's doing such a great job, has said that whole planning process around the stadium itself, with a task force that he's been working with since last fall, and the survey that was done about amenities in Husker sports, in particular in the stadium, there was a huge response rate. I think 22,000 people responded to that survey, and they, relative to alcohol, that question was largely while there were a few people that said, yes, we absolutely want alcohol in the stadium, there were a few that were adamantly opposed to alcohol in the stadium. The vast majority of the fan base said, yes, they think it would be a positive thing, right? So there's a lot of data there behind this for sports, and a lot of experience that we have with this across intercollegiate athletics as well. So I think a very positive step moving forward with the initiation of alcohol sales at PBA for men's and women's basketball.
We're looking out over the Go Big project, and it is a big project, but the undertaking of doing something with the stadium might even dwarf that, right? That's a huge deal.
Well, we're planning to plan, right? So we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but I think everyone can envision, Memorial Stadium is the, outside of the state capitol, maybe the most recognized facility and culturally most important facilities in the state of Nebraska. I think we all know that and understand that and feel that. And while we have done a lot of enhancement to Memorial Stadium over its 99-year history, certainly it doesn't look today like it did when I was a graduate student here in the 1980s, and it certainly doesn't look like it did in 1923. It is a 99-year-old facility, right, that was built at a time when the fan experience was different than it is today, and different than it's likely to evolve to, as we move forward, right? And so we know there are significant things that need to be done to the stadium to enhance it for its next era of life. So yes, I would anticipate it will be a big project, probably a big project over time.
Yeah.
You know, that you're living in that facility at the same time that you're thinking about the renovation and development of it for its next generations as well.
You have projects going on all over campus. I mean, it's pretty impressive what's happening on campus.
Right. Well, we were talking with the media earlier today. We were talking about the fact that we have over $1 billion of construction, renovation, development of facilities across the UNL campuses currently. Either that we've just finished, or we're in the process of, or we're in the initiation phases of. Much of that enabled by LB 384, deferred maintenance package that we're doing the first $400 million of projects across the university system, many of them here at UNL. So yeah, we've got a lot going on. I mean, when I look down the street, we're sitting here in your studio today and looking out at the Go Big project out the window, and go down the street, down Vine Street, it's just one construction project after another. So one of the things about this board request for change in process to allow a planning group and project management group to get ahead of bringing a program statement to the board for consideration on Memorial Stadium is that we can go out and find that project manager that will be able to help us do that, and do that very well and plan appropriately, while we are fully engaged in doing all of the other projects here that we have underway at the university. So I'm excited about it.
Last thing, all three of these, the MMR, the alcohol sales at PBA, and the procedural thing for planning purposes down the road, these were all well thought out, right? These were not just knee-jerk things.
Absolutely.
A lot of planning went into these.
One of the things that I really appreciate about Nebraska is we think long and hard about what we do, and we really put the diligence into thinking behind all of these things. I mentioned to the media this morning that take the alcohol question for Pinnacle Bank Arena. I'm in my 7th year in this position. I started talking with the city of Lincoln about that the first 2 months I was in the position. I remember distinctly talking with Mayor Chris Beitler at the time here in Lincoln about what that would look like, what we would need to consider, and what would be entailed in that happening at Pinnacle Bank Arena. So we take our time, to really think through those things carefully. And, while this is a little different process relative to the Memorial Stadium piece than what we would typically do with university facilities, it's the right thing to do, is to really put behind all of that conceptual planning ahead of us really coming forward with this is what we desire as a program statement to go to the Board of Regents.
Great to see you. Sorry to bother you on the bye week, but now we've got homecoming coming up, and we'll chat again next week.
Looking forward to homecoming next week. Looking forward to 2 great volleyball games this weekend, and Go Big Red.
There he is, Ronnie Green with us here on Sports Night. Time to tell you to buckle up, put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. More of the show coming up next.
It's more than a Lincoln, it's your Lincoln. Custom order your next luxury SUV with Woodhouse Lincoln today. Choose from the full range of Lincoln models and curate every detail to your deepest desires. From exterior color down to each accessory, our friendly and knowledgeable sales staff will guide you to your next vehicle. Begin your custom order journey online at woodhouselincoln.com.
Hello, I'm Tom Osborne. Thank you for your support of Teammates mentoring programs. Because of your generosity, we are able to continue our mission to positively impact the world by inspiring students to reach their full potential through mentoring. Please go to www.teammates.org.
This message is sponsored by the NEX Cashback app. Earn 15% cash back on every purchase, every store, every day at Nebraska Crossing in Gretna, the official shopping center of the Huskers.
Coody, good pass. Jack back right side. That's a Shawnee Teeler. Big block. Lindsey Krause, Pekka Alec. It's a block, Mardi Gras. 23-12 Nebraska.
Hey, Huskers fans, tomorrow, join us for Sports Nightly at 6 p.m. as we make our college football picks of the week before Nebraska Volleyball takes over at 6:30 p.m. with their matchup against Michigan State. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Here's to the locals, raised right here in the Western Corn Belt. The strong ones. We help them grow stronger, making world-class genetics research and technology local. The cutting-edge yet common-sense agronomy, the shake-em-up yields. Because we're born and raised here too, and we'll keep raising the bar to ensure you only get the best at Hogemeyer. Raised local, raised right here. Learn more at therightseed.com.
Every day, Central Valley Ag supplies ranchers with calf starter to prompt maximum absorption of nutrients so calves transition in days, not weeks. Let CVA help you formulate the right plan to ensure weaning success in your herd. Register to win 40 bags of CVA Impact Starter with Amafirm when you go online to cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
I'm so glad we called SOS. Our AC is the coldest.
I'm always the coldest.
SOS to the rescue.
Hey, this is Dakota Crawford, wide receiver from Louisiana, now playing in Lincoln. When your AC isn't the coldest, you call SOS Heating and Cooling. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition guaranteed. Take it from the coldest. We will keep you cool this summer.
Beardmore Subaru celebrates Nebraska volleyball again this season. 5 national championships, 47 All-Americans, and a home sellout streak dating back to 2001. The longest streak for any women's sport in NCAA history. Beardmore Subaru has been a proud supporter of Husker volleyball for more than 10 years. Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the new Subaru Outback Wilderness, loaded with off-road ready upgrades, and the new Solterra, Subaru's first ever all-electric and all-wheel drive vehicle. Go Big Red.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Pivot control has never been easier. T&L Irrigation now offers a new control panel called Precision Point Touch. It's a full-color 7-inch graphic touchscreen that's easy to use and gives you lots of great tools to make your irrigation faster and more efficient. Set up your pivots the way you want. You can update your older controls to the new Precision Point control panel too. Call your local T&L dealer or visit TLIRR.com. T&L Irrigation, like no other.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you on a Thursday night, 402-413-2400. Thanks again to the Chancellor for spending some time with us tonight. Hope that cleared up some of the things. We did get a text about any word about Haymarket Park. Similar scenario to PBA. Facilities are already in place. And I'd much rather have a beer at a baseball game than a basketball game. Well, the city of Lincoln is the one that owns PBA. It's an individual, a company that owns Haymarket Park. That's the owner of the Salt Dogs. And so Nebraska has to deal with somebody different on that front. I think they have had talks, and that may be coming, as I said earlier in the hour, but it's just not there yet. It still could come. Baseball season's not for 5 months. So
yeah, I just think because we're a month away from the men's basketball exhibition is on the 23rd. Right. And so you gotta vote on that quickly to get it going before basketball season. So there's gonna be another Board of Regents meeting before we get to baseball season.
A question, and I didn't ask him. The board meets next Friday morning, then we'll vote. ESTG, would they serve it that night?
Oh.
Next Friday night? I don't know.
I doubt it. I doubt that'd be well, I guess I
mean, just in honor of him dropping his new album.
If it's already there and in place, and I mean,
easy to flip the switch.
Yeah.
I'll ask that question. I'll get an answer for you and get back. Let's go to North Platte. Jim's been waiting patiently. Good evening, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, thank you for both taking my call. And I'm going to go on record to say that I am totally against alcohol. And I've got some football questions. When you play grade school football, you learn how to block and tackle. Why doesn't the college know how to block and tackle? Even my second question is, why did they go from 4 playoff teams, thinking about it, to 12? Why don't they do 8? And my third question is, I'm in my 70s. I would like to see Nebraska win the conference and even win the national title. Go Big Red.
All right, Jim. Thank you. Appreciate the call. I think it's unfair to say we don't block and tackle. I think we do. We haven't tackled real well. I grant you that, but I don't think it's that we don't do it well. I think we just have not been very good the first 4 games. The playoffs, I think it's all about money, don't you? I mean, really. And I think the public is kind of clamoring for a bigger playoff.
Yeah, I think it worked, and then now they've lost some interest and had some opt-outs, and so here's a way to get more teams involved and draw up some more interest, get some more television partners involved and some more eyeballs on that, which also means more money. But I'm all for it because I think, a lot of people have argued that this will take away from the regular season. I disagree with that completely because I think there's a lot of times if a team loses 1 or 2 early on, they're out, they're done, right? You can't lose, a lot of times you can't lose 1 game for a lot of programs and still get into the college football playoff as 4. But now you better not quit because you can get in with 1 or 2 losses now.
There are going to be so many more games of importance in the month of November than ever before because of this. Because if you have 1 loss, or even if you have 2 and real close ones, and you play really well in October, and then you pull off an upset or 2 in November, you can work your way back into that top 12. And if you're sitting here as a Husker fan right now, and we're not in a good spot. We all know that. We all admit that. But to think that we've got to get back to the top 4 to get ourselves in the playoffs, that's a really, really high mountain to climb. Top 12? Okay, all of a sudden you go 10-2 and you might have a shot of getting in there.
Especially when, I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but there is a certain bias for some programs.
There is.
For the top 4. And if you're sitting there on the bubble as a, 5, 6, 7 with Georgia, teams aren't getting in over Georgia. And they're not getting in over Alabama.
Right.
And so you're not getting in over Ohio State. There are just certain teams that are going to get the nod over others because they've been there. But now, if you open that up, those 5, 6, 7 teams get in.
That's exactly right. Hey, Jim, appreciate the call. Buckle up, put that phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Husker Athletics still offering that Big Ten mini plan. 4 games left at home. They're all conference games. Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin. $50 a ticket, so a $200 package. If you have some interest in that, you can find it online at huskers.com/tickets. Phone lines, text lines, wide open for you. 402-413-2400. We're back to wrap up hour 1 next.
At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day by day, donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
Whether you compete on the court, at the track, on the field, or in the fields, winning isn't just a goal. It's a mindset, shaped, honed, and defined throughout the season. That's why farmers pushing themselves to be the best plant DeKalb brand corn. Wherever you compete, winning has roots. Perform at your best with DeKalb. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
The name on the mailbox may say Smith, Myers, Baumgartner, or Johnson, but when you choose to plant with Rob Seco, it includes your name too, making you a stockholder in a company that's invested in you. With the simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, relationships that bring more to the table, the technology, traits, and genetics that take on local conditions, and people with the know-how to use it. At Rob Seco, the only stockholder we listen to is you.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. Husker fans, join us in celebrating excellence in women's athletics. Meet student athletes and alumni from every Nebraska women's program and commemorate the 50th anniversary of Title IX at the More is Possible Rally on Saturday, October 8th at Bowlin Stadium. This event will begin at 10:30 a.m. and is free for all ages. Register today at huskers.com/Title IX.
Backed by popular demand, Hy-Vee drive-through flu shot clinics. Just follow the signs in your Hy-Vee parking lot to get your flu shot right from your car. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment or prescription is necessary. Drive-through flu shots are offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 7 p.m. Or get your flu shot inside your Hy-Vee pharmacy at any time with no appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, you get a 20-cent Hy-Vee fuel saver. Some restrictions apply.
Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you're looking for at Woodhouse. 402-413-2400, the number to dial us up with a comment or question or fire off a text. Steve in Woodcliff Lake goes. Greg, what are your thoughts on Nebraska baseball's upcoming season? A lot of changes. Interested in your thoughts on how quick they can turn it around. Well, baseball's a sport where you can turn it around quick.
Yeah.
And, man, Will Bolt did a remake of that roster. I saw him the other day. 23 new guys. That's like a whole new team.
It's like you get 2 good arms, and that changes everything.
Sure does. So they're in fall ball. They can't practice at Haymarket because they've ripped the turf up. They're putting in new sod. So they're having to scramble and play some fields around Lincoln for the next couple weeks. If you want to go see them and you live in Omaha, they're playing the Mavericks Saturday at 2 o'clock, a 14-inning game. So you want to run out there and watch some baseball, you folks can go and see it yourself. I'm not going to be there. So if you go, somebody call and tell me what you think.
Some of the guys that are coming back have had some pretty good summers, though.
Sure did. Max Anderson was great. Cape Cod All-Star. Bryce Matthews did well. Josh Caron was an All-Star in the Northwoods League. So some of the guys that were here a year ago did have good summers. They went and got a pitcher from Wichita State, from Incarnate Word. They got a hitter from Southern Miss. So guy from Kansas, guy from Oklahoma State. So they've added a lot of parts.
I think that's going to be good for Max, who probably came in with a little bit of pressure going into last year after his big freshman year to go play well in the Cape Cod League.
Right.
Hopefully he'll carry that confidence over.
Which he's done that back-to-back summers in the Cape Cod, which is the premier league for college baseball. I think the pressure last year really got to Bryce Matthews.
Yeah.
Taking over for Schwellenbach, he felt like he had to be perfect at shortstop. He had to carry some load offensively. I think it just got to him a little bit too much.
Yeah, and
I think he struggled with it.
Yeah, and he was a guy, we've talked about it on here, that he went through and worked with the sports psychology department because of that, because of, trying to be Spencer Schwellenbach, and you can't be that. Spencer was a guy that had been around, played a lot of baseball, and had, so that's part of what the psych department works with is when you have those comparison games and not trying to be somebody that you're not. And so I think Bryce will have, and we saw him playing a lot better at the end of the season,
He played
too.
a lot better.
Yeah,
sure did. Let's head over to Iowa. Joe, you're up next here on Sports Nightly. Good evening.
How are you?
Great.
Good. Hey, I just wanted to call and I hear that Matt Campbell, I'm an Iowa State fan by heart. I live in Nebraska, and Matt Campbell is maybe on the towards the top of the list on recruiting. How does Nebraska keep a coach after, if you're not successful in a couple of years, you're gone? I will hang up and listen.
I appreciate it. I mean, all these coaches, when they take any job, whether it's at Iowa State, whether it's at Kansas, whether it's at Nebraska, they all know if you don't win, you're not going to be around. So I don't think that's unique to Nebraska. That, in fact, a lot of people feel like Nebraska maybe went too long with Scott Frost. He got into year 5. And so I don't think that's would hinder anybody to take a job worried that they might not keep the job.
Yeah, and obviously certain places have different expectations than others, and being that Nebraska won 3 games last year, and we'll see how this year unfolds, you're not going to automatically expect a coach to come in and win 11 games, so that changes. But the expectations are there. You have to win. It's just too much of a money maker. There's too much that rides on your football program across the country at most Power 5 schools. And so you pretty much have to win, or else this is the business of winning. We've heard, how many times have we heard Trev say that? You got to win. And while certain programs absolutely have different expectations, you still got to win. You can't just go winless.
Joe, I wish you'd hadn't hung up on. I would ask you, if Matt Campbell was 16-31 at Iowa State, would he still be their coach? I doubt it.
No, and he had started started from the bottom.
Yeah.
And I think there's different expectations for Iowa State. A 9-win season for Iowa State would have been like a national championship season after what they had gone through prior to Matt Campbell.
Yeah. So, fair question, because Nebraska has rolled through coaches. But again, any coach anywhere, you better win or you're not going to keep your job. So I don't think that's unique just to Nebraska. So appreciate the call in. Again, 402-413-2400, the number if you want to dot us up on the hotline. Dennis in Lincoln, I'm trying to pull up his text. Did you know if Nebraska baseball have practices around Woods Park Diamond? I don't know, Dennis. I know they use the Dean Hartog out by Seacrest. They use Sherman Field out here in the south part edge of town. Densmore Park out south by Southwest. I know they're using those 3 fields for some practice time going on, but I don't know if they're going to be over by Woods.
How long does it take to put that new sod in?
Oh, a couple weeks, and then you got to water it in, and they probably don't want anybody on it.
So they won't be able to use it at all this fall.
I think they're done.
And they're doing it at softball too, right?
They're putting field turf in at softball.
Which will be good.
Yeah, because if you have snow or something, you can plow it off and play.
Right, yep.
All right, hey, buckle up. Put that phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. 1 hour in the books. The picks are coming up. The Revenge Tour. We'll see how that goes next hour. We'll hear from Chris Anderson as we continue our series of reports on Title IX heroes here in Nebraska. All that in hour 2. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. more powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
With the GoCurrency.com sports ticker, I'm Greg Sharpe. Huskers have a bye week, but interim head coach Mickey Joseph has been working the team through practice sessions throughout the week. Earlier, at his press conference on Tuesday, he talked about the play from last Saturday by his quarterback, Casey Thompson, and the wide receivers.
I was disappointed that we put the ball on the ground twice because they know the rules. The person that's going to strip the ball is the person you don't see, and it happened twice. What happened with Trey and Isaiah. So I'm disappointed with that, and they understand that, and Cass is going to get that fixed. We're not happy about that, and Casey's got to make throws. Casey's got to make third down throws, and he understands that.
Huskers will play a week from Saturday, October the 1st, against the Indiana Hoosiers. It'll be homecoming week at Nebraska, kickoff at 6:30. There is a game in the league tonight, Illinois hosting Tennessee Chattanooga. That kicks off in about 25 minutes. Also, an NFL contest will start in about 10 minutes. A little battle in the AFC between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. Go Browns. Hey, the Huskers men's basketball schedule updated today. Tip times and TV slots for the season. You can find the complete update at Huskers.com. We also learned today that the Nebraska Board of Regents will be considering allowing alcohol sales this season at PBA when they meet next Friday. That would be for both the men's and women's games. Major League Baseball scores, finals from earlier today. The Cardinals beat the Padres 5-4. The Mariners over the Athletics 9-5. San Francisco 3, Colorado nothing. The Rangers beat the Angels 5-3. The Royals swept the Twins, winning the third game of that series today in Kansas City 4-1. The Brewers lead the Reds 2-0 in the fifth inning. Fourth inning, the Cubs on top of the Pirates 2-1. The Rays in a high-scoring game lead the Blue Jays 6-3 in the third inning. The Orioles on top of Houston 2-0 in the third. The Phillies won. The Braves nothing in the bottom of the third. No score. Boston and New York in the third inning. And later tonight, you've got Cleveland at Chicago to take on the White Sox, Arizona in L.A. to battle the Dodgers. In the golfing world, the United States has taken a 4-1 lead in the President's Cup. Format today was alternate shot. They'll play best ball tomorrow. Husker soccer about ready to get underway, and then our league game out at Hibner Stadium against the 8th-ranked Northwestern Wildcats. We'll keep you posted throughout the hour. This update presented by Currency. Does your business need help financing big-ticket items like equipment, trucks, and trailers? Currency is here to help. Visit GoCurrency.com for details. Now get ready. Another hour of Sports Sunday coming up here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Snap back. Thompson has it. Now dancing with his feet, rolling out, looking for a man downfield. Going to take off and try to run with it. Now he scrambles back the other way. Looking, steps, throws downfield, has Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, makes a catch. 45 of Northwestern to the 40, weaves his way to the 35, 30, 25, 20, up to the bounds. My goodness, what a play. Casey Thompson.
Side set, Lindsey Krause, kaboom. 8-7 Nebraska, set 2 after winning the first 5-2.
Snap back. They give it off to Grant, right side. He is in. Touchdown, Nebraska. And the Huskers have the lead back here in Ireland.
Pepperdine volleyball. Bumped over to the left. Aaron swings. Stopped. Match point, big red. Keelan Hall. Kennedy Hall. 25-22. Nebraska wins it in 3.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are back with hour number 2. It's our last full hour of the week. Tomorrow night we will have a very short show as we've got Husker volleyball tomorrow night. They start league play with Michigan State at the Devaney Center. Pregame at 6:30, so we just have a half-hour show for you tomorrow night. And tomorrow night we will play a little bit of the latest Kicking Back with the Cooks as they preview conference play, which gets going tomorrow. I had a great time last night. Left here. ESPN2 did a volleyball doubleheader, Texas, Missouri, and then Texas, Kansas. That was a 5-setter. Longhorns got pushed.
That's awesome.
They won.
How did Kayla Caffey do?
Pretty good. Yeah, she was really good.
Yeah?
She was really good. Kind of made me a little salty, but yeah, she was pretty good. Well, because we don't have a full show tomorrow night, we need to get in our Choices Treatment Center picks. Our big game predictions are presented by Choices Treatment Center, helping people make positive choices. And as we do each and every week, let's go back and review last week's results. Yeah, it was a rough week for some folks. Michigan, UConn, easy. We all took Michigan 5-0 for the group. Northwestern, Southern Illinois. as I said, somebody asked, did Northwestern have too much Guinness? Because they haven't won since over in Ireland. They get beat by Southern Illinois. None of us saw that coming. We go 0-5.
Again, I'm by no means making excuses for Nebraska and the loss, but they just have not looked like the same team. And how many times does that happen where, Nebraska gets everybody's best, it seems like, and they just, Northwestern just has not looked like that team we saw in Ireland.
Just brutal. So nobody picked Southern Illinois. We all lose on that one. Purdue-Syracuse, what a game. Purdue takes the lead with about a minute to go. Syracuse comes down, scores with 27 seconds on the clock. Molly was the only one to take the orange, so she gets a yay girl for that one. Good pick by her.
Congrats, Molly. She needed to pick one up on us, right?
She did. She did indeed. All right, Indiana, Western Kentucky, another marvelous finish of the game that went overtime. We were split on this one. Andrew, Molly, and I had the Hoosiers. Ewan and Tim took Western Kentucky.
And it looked like a really good pick for a long time. Up until the last minute of the game, or last couple minutes, it looked like a really good pick. Because Western Kentucky led by double digits most of the time.
They did, yeah. So you looked brilliant for most of the way. Indiana scored, I think, late.
Yeah.
Last-second field goal to get it to overtime and then won the game in overtime. All 5 of us took Rutgers to beat Temple. Yay, team. Penn State at Auburn. Everybody but me went Penn State. You all got it right. I went with Auburn. Bad pick. Bad pick. They lose. Penn State looked pretty good.
They did, yeah.
Minnesota and Colorado, we all went with the Gophers. They rolled the Buffaloes. We all took Wisconsin. They smashed New Mexico State. We all took Ohio State. They rolled Toledo. And then we got sideways a little bit with Michigan State at Washington. You, Andrew, and Tim all win Huskies. Molly and I waved the Big Ten flag. Bad on us. They get beat out in Seattle.
That was a pick that I was a little bit conflicted on, but Washington was good at home. I think that was the one that I was like, well, I'm just going to go with the home team because they've been pretty good at home.
And Andrew, and rightfully so, loves Michael Penix. He was really good in that game. Huskies stay undefeated and get the win. Nevada at Iowa, a game that ended at 1:40 a.m. because of thunderstorms. They had to wait out 3 different weather delays, so a late night at Kinnick. Hawkeyes shut out Nevada. We all picked the Hawkeyes to win that game.
They finally scored some points.
They did. They covered the spread, I believe.
Which we did not think was possible.
No, we didn't. Sneaky good game, and I said this last week when we picked it. Maryland SMU, this was a really good football game. The Terps survived. You went out on a limb and took SMU, and it wasn't a bad pick because that was a good game.
Yeah, again, I thought maybe I could sneak one of those two in, either SMU or Western Kentucky. I thought one of them would pull off an upset, but it was close. At least it was a good game. At least I didn't just look like a complete idiot for picking them.
Nope. BYU at Oregon. You and I took the Ducks. Andrew, Tim, and Molly went BYU. Pretty easy win for the Ducks. They rolled them.
Yeah. No, that was the team I was saying that hadn't lost at home from a non-conference opponent. It was like 30 games or something. So.
And they keep it rolling with that victory. Miami and A&M, we were split on this. You, me, Andrew go with the Aggies. Tim and Molly went with the Canes. A&M wins a low-scoring game, so we get it right.
So I didn't do as bad as I thought. I didn't do as bad as I thought.
The wrap-up, Florida State, this was the Friday night game, Florida State at Louisville. This was a pretty good football game. The Seminoles look a little charmed right now. They pull it out, win it. All 3 of us, Andrew, you and I, and Tim took the Noles. Molly took Louisville. So 4 of us got that one right. So our standings for the week. The Revenge Tour continues. Andrew's the weekly winner again at 12-3. You and I go 11-4. Tim and Molly end up going 10-5. And so for on the season, Andrew has a 2-game lead on me at 36-11, 3 up on you and Tim, and he's 5 up on Molly.
He's gotten so lucky in a couple of these games.
Is that how you see it, Andrew?
So lucky. So lucky.
Are you not talking to us tonight?
Oh, now he's going to try to be humble. Come on.
Oh, listen to that.
Oh, my goodness.
Just want to say thank you to all my friends and family who have continued to believe in me during these troubling times of losses and hardships that I've had to deal with. I've had to deal with the HRN team coming at me 24/7, and I have done it for the win, so I apprate it, everybody.
Andrew, it's like week 4, but can you be quiet because we have a big moment happening.
The Huskers have just scored on number 9 Northwestern.
Let's
So
go.
Wow.
Let's
it
go.
was up in the top corner, top shelf goal for the Huskers. So they lead, and boy, only like 2 minutes into that match.
I mean, that was like so poetic that they had to interrupt his rambling speech of winning. Like, you want to talk about somebody that's not used to winning. Come on.
What did he say? I didn't even really hear what he said.
I can repeat it. I can repeat it.
No, we don't need you to repeat it.
All right, let's get to the picks this week. We got a game kicking off here in about 15 minutes. Chattanooga and Illinois.
Illinois.
Anybody?
Illinois.
All right, all five pick Illinois. Tim and Molly also go with the Fighting Illini, who I think they're not bad. That's a pretty solid team. So all five go Illinois. A lot of league games this week. Maryland at Michigan. Maryland's undefeated. We talked to one of their riders last night on the Blitz. I think they can hang in there, but I don't think they can win in the Big House.
No, I got Michigan in this one.
Michigan.
Okay, we're all five in agreement on that one. Central Michigan at Penn State. Anybody?
No.
No
Nope.
upsets?
Nope.
All right, so all five go Penn State. This one, I struggled with Michigan State hosting Minnesota. The Gophers lose their best offensive player in Chris Ottman-Bell. Hurt, out for the year. I hate seeing that happen to a guy this early in the year. I really like the Gophers, but I think Sparty bounces back, Jessica, and holds serve at home and gets a league win.
Give me the Gophers. I'm rowing that boat this week.
I'm rowing the boat, too.
Oh, I'm on the revenge tour, apparently.
How about that? So you go. And let's see. Tim goes Michigan State. So Tim and I are with Sparty. Molly's with you guys. She likes Minnesota in this matchup.
You know, I used to, like, whenever we would pick it before, if I was on the same side as Andrew, I'd be like, oh no, that was the wrong pick. Now I'm like, okay.
That's going to be an interesting game. That is a 2:30 game. On BTN on Saturday. And just to give you a quick update on the line, Gophers are favored by 3 in that game. And give me the home dog. We'll see how that works out for me. Probably not great. All right, so next, Cincinnati, home game with Indiana. The Hoosiers are undefeated. Cincinnati, though, is more than a 2-touchdown favorite.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bearcats. I got Cincinnati in this one.
Cincinnati.
We all are in agreement, all five. Tim, Molly, and myself all go with Cincinnati. So we're all giving the Hoosiers a loss before they come to Lincoln next week.
Indiana's gotten really, they squeak by. You say they're undefeated, but they very easily, it could have been the other way.
They could have a couple losses.
Yes.
Illinois, and then last week with Western Kentucky. Iowa goes to Rutgers. So did the Hawkeyes find some offense? They're favored by a touchdown. It's a night game in Piscataway. What do you think?
I really want to go Rutgers, but I'm going to have to go with Iowa.
Andrew?
I want to do the same thing. I wanted to go with Rutgers. They've been good on my picks so far, but I'm going to go with Iowa.
You guys are all cowards. Give me the Scarlet Knights in an upset. Take down the Hawkeyes.
I hope you're right. I hope you get the point this week over me, Greg. I hope I'm wrong in this one.
Well, I'm the only one sticking out my toe in that little, on the edge of that little cliff, because everybody, Molly, Tim, everybody goes Iowa, so I'm by myself on this pick. Also at the Shoe Saturday night, Ohio State's a pretty big favorite on Wisconsin. They're favored by 19. We give the Badgers any hope in this game?
No.
Andrew?
No.
Wow. Disappointing that and, hey, Wisconsin can run the football. Maybe they can shorten the game up and keep that thing close. Kind of doubt it. All right, Northwestern is home with Miami of Ohio. The Cats, again, favored by a touchdown. I think they get it done. I think they power their way past Miami of Ohio.
I mean, yeah, I'm probably going to be mad at myself, but yeah, I mean, I'll just keep rolling with them. Maybe eventually they'll get in the win column.
Yeah, I'm with you guys too, so.
All five. No, hold on. Hold the phone. Tim is going with he's going with the Hawks, the Miami of Ohio Hawks.
Wow.
Molly's with us.
He's, I guess, learned his lesson of picking Northwestern.
He's a brave man. All right, Purdue, who is 1-2, 2 heartbreaking losses, last-minute losses to Penn State and Syracuse, so they're 1-2. They host Florida Atlantic, big favorite in this game by 17 points. The Boilers get her done.
Yep, they bounce back in this one.
Yeah, I'm going Purdue.
Yep, all five of us go with Purdue. All right, let's get to some national games. There's some really good matchups in the national. Let's go to the ACC next. Clemson, who's off to a good start, going to Wake Forest. Wake's been a little bit up and down. This will be an 11 a.m. game on ABC. Clemson favored by a touchdown, Jessica.
I'm surprised it's that close, but I'm going with Clemson. Were you surprised at that point spread?
Yep, a little bit, because Wake Forest struggled a couple times already this year. They are ranked, but they've struggled. I like the Tigers.
I do too.
I'm liking Clemson too. I texted you this, Greg. I had Wake, but I went with ACC.
You should go with your gut, Andrew.
I know.
Your initial gut reaction told you to go with Wake.
I'm going to go Clemson still.
We're all in agreement. Tim and Molly go with us on Clemson. All right, Baylor at Iowa State. Let's come back to the Big 12 Conference. This is a pretty good matchup. Cyclones 3-0. 11 a.m. game on the Deuce Saturday. Baylor ranked 17th, 2-1. Their loss was that late night game at BYU. What do we think? Andrew, give me your pick on this one.
I'm liking Iowa State in this game.
Okay. I'm going Iowa State as well. Give me the home team in this one. They're favored by under a field goal. I'm going to Iowa State as well.
You know what? Give me Baylor. Give me the Bears.
Jessica, Tim, and Molly all go Baylor. So
I
Andrew,
initially had Iowa State, but I think I'm going to go with Baylor.
Okay.
I think I'm going to switch.
Fair point on that one. All right, Tennessee is the site of game day this week, and it's going to be the Vols hosting the Gators. Battle of ranked teams. Tennessee a 10-point favorite in this game.
Give me Rocky Top. Good old Rocky Top.
I had Florida, but Richardson, he just hasn't hit the hump. The QB from Florida, he's just been getting 230 games. He hasn't hit any 300-yard games, and he's had a lot of 2-interception games. So I did have Florida, but I don't have confidence in him anymore, so I'm also going to go Tennessee.
They either have one or none offensive passing touchdowns through 3 weeks. The Gators.
It's none.
I think it's none.
None.
So give me Tennessee, 10-point favorite in this game. Stay in the ACC. Arkansas at Texas A&M. The Aggies bounced back sort of last week with a low-scoring victory over Miami. The Hogs undefeated at 3-0. A&M is a slight 2-point favorite in this game. I dislike what Sam Pittman's doing at Arkansas. Give me the Razorbacks to win on the road.
What's Tim doing?
Tim is going Razorbacks. Molly is going Razorbacks.
Andrew, what you got?
I'm going Texas A&M.
Yeah, I got Texas A&M in this one too. I mean, as I've not been, on their bandwagon from the start. I don't think they're as good as people thought they were, but I don't know. Their team that, how many have they won? Like in the series, they have a significant advantage in this
Big
one.
Advantage.
I think Arkansas upset them last year, but I think I'm going to roll with. I think they're going to have revenge on the brain. I'm going to go with the Aggies.
Okay. Set out west, Pac-12 matchup. Lincoln Riley's got USC relevant again. They're 3-0, but so are the Beavers. They're 3-0. That line, it's coming down. It started at 8. It's down to 6. Spooky, weird things happen in Corvallis late at night. Andrew?
I know it might be spooky and weird, but I'm still going to go USC.
Okay.
Fight on me as well. I got USC, Caleb Williams.
Couldn't talk you guys into it.
Nope.
We're all 5 in agreement. It's all 5 go SC to win. Again, I would not be shocked if weird things happen in Corvallis late night football games, and that one kicks off at 8:30 our time, so 6:30 out there. And we'll wrap it up. Texas in Lubbock to take on Texas Tech. Texas Tech played pretty well a couple weeks ago against NC State. They got a win over Houston in overtime. The Longhorns struggled a bit last week with UTSA, but they won. What are you liking this one?
It's probably a hangover from the Alabama game. I got Texas, and I think it's going to set up for an epic matchup yet again between Texas and Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl a week from, well, actually 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2
Red
weeks.
River rivalry.
But I think both of them go into it undefeated. Besides the loss to Alabama.
Yeah, I was stuck on that one too, but I'm still going to go with Texas.
Yep, I'll go with it as well. So we all 5 go the Longhorns in that matchup in Lubbock. Again, like Corvallis, strange things can happen in Lubbock, but we're all in agreement on that. We go Longhorns. Those are our Choices Treatment Center predictions for the week. If you or someone you love has a gambling problem, call Choices Treatment Center at 402-476-2300 or go to the website choicestreatmentcenter.com. Northwestern has tied up the Huskers out at Hibner, a 1-1 tie. Some offense going on there tonight and on the soccer pitch here in Lincoln. When we come back, Jessica's going to sit down with Chris Anderson, longtime sports information director here at Nebraska. She was honored on the field this past week as we honor women who have been significant to the University of Nebraska during the 50 years of Title IX. We'll hear from Chris coming up next.
This is University of Nebraska-Lincoln student Colton Husa with Campus News. 26 Husker students participated in the Rural Fellows Learning Program. It's a 10-week summer internship across 16 Nebraska communities. Students work with local leaders to plan and execute community improvement projects. Past projects include water system improvements in Wahoo, early childhood education access in Ord, and farmers market and music festival management in Imperial.
Here's Emma Grown. Sends it over to the back right. Kenzie, nice pass. Jack back from Kennedy Orr, tight to the net. And then Whitney launched it. Kaboom! 22. Make it 23-18. Big Red pouring it on here late in the second.
Hey, Huskers fans, tomorrow, join us for Sports Nightly at 6 p.m. as we preview the latest episode of Kicking Back with the Cooks before Nebraska Volleyball takes over at 6:30 p.m. with their matchup against Michigan State. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Woodhouse Ford is your certified Ford dealer, serving drivers throughout Nebraska for 47 years. Our commitment to our customers continues well beyond the date of purchase. You will leave our lot feeling comfortable and confident in your new vehicle. Customers have been relying on Woodhouse Ford since 1975 for high-quality vehicles, knowledgeable staff, and exceptional service. Experience the Woodhouse Ford difference and shop at one of our 3 locations in-store or online at woodhouseford.com.
Farmers can make what seems impossible reality with a little hard work and ingenuity. They find solutions to reduce inputs and improve their yield. Valley Irrigation is no different. As the leader in irrigation technology, we deliver results and optimize your operation. Because when you have a vision for the future, you need the people that can make it possible by your side. Expect what's next. Expect what's possible from Valley. Visit us at valleyirrigation.com.
Subaru loves building vehicles for those who pack a lot into life. The 2023 Crosstrek is their way of saying more power to you. With 182 horsepower, you have a world of fun and adventure waiting for you. And the Crosstrek comes with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. Love is out there. Find it in the Crosstrek. 182 horsepower engine available on select models. DeToe Subaru, located at 2750 Jamie Lane in Lincoln, and online at DeToeSubaru.com.
Families who travel to Nebraska's only Ronald McDonald House are facing extremely uncomfortable situations. Their child is sick in an unfamiliar city, unsure of how to handle it all. But when they walk in the Ronald McDonald House, they can find comfort in the little things. A quiet moment away from the bombardment of beeps and buzzes in a hospital room. The taste of a home-cooked meal. A calming voice saying it'll be okay. Help us provide the little things that make a big difference. Support a one-night stay for a family in need by visiting rmhcomaha.org/Huskers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Can you name one thing that's more exciting than football in Nebraska? Okay, maybe not, but there's something that comes close. Scratch tickets from the Nebraska Lottery. That's right. Choose from a variety of play styles with huge top prizes. There's something fun for everyone. So, when football isn't on, pick up some scratch tickets from the Nebraska Lottery.
Play is good. Go play. Odds vary by game.
Farmers Mutual of Nebraska is proud to support Husker athletics. Having a confident teammate beside you makes all the difference when it comes to protecting what matters most. With a proven track record of dependable coverage, unmatched financial strength, and a prompt claim service team right here in Nebraska, that's insurance kept local. Visit FMNE.com to contact an agent for a quote today. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
Preparation. It's the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pre-game routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Bank of the West is offering the first checking account designed for climate action. It gives back 1% of the account's net revenue to the planet at no cost to you. Shows you the estimated carbon impact of debit card purchases. And there's no minimum balance required. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Thursday night, Sports Night. Every week during the football games, at home games, they've been honoring somebody to look back at the 50 years of Title IX. And Chris Anderson, longtime sports information director here, was honored last Saturday, and you have caught up with her recently.
Yeah, so we talked about this in the first hour. She was one of the first, potentially even the first woman to serve as the sports information director for a Power 5 football program or Division I football program. And so, yeah, definitely a trailblazer in her field. And so I had a chance to sit down with her. This is a portion of that conversation with her. But to a little background on Chris, she grew up in Nebraska, came to Nebraska, was a fan of sports, was not necessarily, and this is her words, was not as athletic, but she wanted to be a part of a team, so ended up falling into sports. So here is our conversation with Chris Anderson. Let's start at the beginning. You grew up, you're a Nebraska kid. Did you always grow up loving sports?
I did love sports. I just wasn't a very good athlete.
So you come to Nebraska and you decide to major in
journalism.
Journalism.
I knew that all along.
Okay. And so what did you want to do? Did you want to do sports information when you started?
No, I wanted to be the weather girl on 10/11.
So how did you transition then into, working in communications?
Well, I live 1 mile from Panama, Nebraska, and Don Bryant's son lived in Panama, and he suggested, since I was in journalism and I was working for him, and he owned The Voice, which was a small town newspaper, he suggested that I hit up his dad, Don Bryant, for a job, and the rest literally is history. I walked into Don's office, he interviewed me, and he said, well, we have a position in women's athletics, and I said, sure. And that was my very first day of school in 1979.
Wow. So what did you love about it that you thought, okay, this is going to be my career?
I loved telling great, upbeat, fun stories. Loved being at sporting events, so it was never a job to me. And I just loved being a part of a team, even though I couldn't run fast and I wasn't tall enough to jump over the net or anything like that. So.
That's awesome. So in 1993, you were promoted to the director of sports information, and you became one of the first women to be in that role for a Division I football program. So what was that like? Did you realize at the time that there weren't very many women in that role, and how did that come about that you felt ready for that job?
Well, Don Bryant was very encouraging to me. We all decided it would be best to try it as an interim, just to make sure I was comfortable as well. And so it was kind of a whole year of learning, but he would teach me along the way, and all the coaches I worked with were just so gracious. They didn't ever hesitate to work with me. They just said, what do you need to do differently than a man to do your job, and what can we do to help you? So I feel so blessed.
We had talked to Pat Logston earlier this year, and she had talked about how Tom Osborne was so great about her and her position and allowing women to have roles that, again, weren't normal across the country.
Yeah.
So what was your perspective of that, of Tom Osborne and working with him back when you first took over that role in the early 90s?
Well, he was the first one that came to me and asked me what I felt I needed from him to be able to do it effectively, and asked me if it was, did I need to be at every practice? Did I need to be in the locker room? Did I need to stay each night because, a family and such? And I said, no, I can use We can do it this, and it was perfect. I mean, it really was pretty seamless between myself and the football program, and Coach just made everybody feel comfortable, always. And of course, very respectful of everyone he has ever met, so.
So you sign on, and then Nebraska just wins national championships. What was the first few years like? I gotta imagine it was just a whirlwind. You go into that role, and then all of a sudden now you're working with the best team in the country.
Yeah, you know, probably what stands out to me the most is when Brooke died, quite honestly. And that put every single thing from that moment on into complete perspective. Because you just can't get that back, and it was so monumental. And so I've always just said, I have this little Don Bryant voice in my head, Chrissy, there are more important things in life than football. And that's always been my mantra, and particularly, and then losing Jake Young and Sam Foltz after that, you know, I'm just continually reminded that there are a lot more important things, but it sure was fun.
When, you know, as someone that's in that role that is working so closely with the team, we talked to Trev Alberts about you, and he said, you know, you were really like family to these players. So I know you got really close with the players, and so for them to have a dream come true like that, what was that like when you see their goals come true at the end?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's Trev's mom that made me feel like family. So she was an absolute joy. I've loved her. You do get to know them pretty well. And I will say that particularly later on, like with Eric Crouch and Grant Wistrom, Will Shields, they have to do some degree of interviews in order to get themselves out there. And some of them aren't comfortable speaking or just don't have a lot of words to say. And so that's the part where I think you become pretty close, and they trust you to give them guidance, even if it's while you're walking to the press conference kind of thing. So I think that actually was one of the things that I was able to do fairly easily, is they wanted my opinion in most situations, and I'm always willing to give it.
I think, you know, for people that might not realize, it's changed a lot, but when you had first started, and Trev had talked about this too, when award submissions, which Nebraska has a ton of individual award winners, and it was so different then, and you had to do a lot of legwork to help get that out there, because there was no social media that gave a ton of exposure. Not everybody was on national TV all the time. Yeah. So can you take us through that process and tell fans like what that was like when you were, you know, putting Trev's Butkus campaign together, or some of those other guys that won these national awards?
Well, again, I go back to Don Bryant, who was the sports information director for 40-some years before me. At the time when I became sports information director, Nebraska had only had 3 ever. So he always, on Friday nights, literally took these big, huge film canisters with him. And if they went down to Oklahoma, he would visit each one of the television stations and drop off video film of, like, Johnny Rogers.
Wow.
Yeah. So I figured I had it pretty good. But one of the things that he told me was return every phone call, no matter what, and to always be personal and try to do phone calls, not emails. And that taught me a lot, because I think that was very important. And through the years, even when we had some negativity to answer to, I just tried to always be accountable. And I think that is one characteristic I learned from Tom. He's always accountable. Coach.
I wanted to ask you about, you have a favorite Tom Osborne story. Obviously, everybody likes T.O. stories.
Gosh, I think my favorite stories right now are his jokes. I love how he improvises them to fit the situation. He hated photo day. So we tried to make that as easy on him as possible, but he was just so easy, you know. He would start most every practice report with pretty uneventful.
Was there ever a moment where you thought, wow, this is what leadership looks like. I mean, was there a moment for that with him?
Oh, I definitely. When I moved out of media relations and I started doing community relations, I felt like I just didn't have the right, because like you said, I kind of had to be bossy to start with, and I was trying to be a softer me, and I went in to talk to him about that because I had heard him speak on it. And he gave me a little book on servant leadership and told me that I could ask him any question anytime. And that really helped me, because then I thought, oh, if I could be a tenth of the servant that he is.
Wow.
And that's why I'm so thrilled to be back at Teammates.
It's amazing. Well, again, honoring Title IX and its 50-year anniversary of Title IX, so you have a great perspective of that because you were here as, women's sports really took off here. So how did you see the growth of women's sports into what they are today? And, you've got such dominant programs in multiple sports here.
Well, a lot of it had to do with media. So, like, when I first got here, when I came back, when I first graduated, I went to Kansas State. We had already had computers here in Nebraska, and then we didn't have any at Kansas State. And I'm like, oh no. So technology and radio contracts, and then television contracts and website contracts and all those emerging media things. A lot of that really helped women's sports a lot. And so that really I felt was beneficial. But, over the years as I was here, we added soccer and bowling and rifle and just a lot of opportunities for women. So I think it's been a good thing. It's all about a fair opportunity to compete, and I think it's been good for that. I really do.
Absolutely. So again, talking about how there weren't a lot of women in your role when you took it over, but was there a woman that was inspiring to you throughout your career?
Oh, well, you mentioned one of them, Pat Logston. She had that calmness about her that never got rattled. Barbara Hibner was amazing, and Barbara would remind you that this is an opportunity that women never had before, so don't blow it, And then Coach Revelle, because Coach Revelle was just so able to take what Barbara said and then spin it in a fun, kind, just happy way. And all those women were definitely mentors to me.
I love that. Well, speaking of mentorship, I know you're very passionate about what you're doing now working with Teammates. So why did you want to get involved with that?
Well, I was there when they started it in 1991. 22 football players held up their hands, said they wanted to be mentors. One of those was Mickey Joseph, first one of 22. And so it's grown now to almost 10,000 mentors everywhere in 5-state region, and we've helped 45,000 kids with a mentor. And the statistics are phenomenal, but the biggest one over the last 3 years is that our mentees report a higher level of hope for the future. And they graduate on time and all those other things, but just reporting that hope, especially over the last few years, and then our mentors report that they get as much out of it as the mentees. And it's all safe in school, so that's what makes it unique. But I love everything about it, and I just think it was designed to be safe and long-lasting, and Tom and Nancy's concept is grown, and it works. So it's pretty solid and brilliant and works well.
If someone wants to get involved or know more about it, where should they go if they're listening in?
Yeah, anybody can become a mentor, and we do have background checks that you must pass. 3rd through K, and then we have Teammates Plus program, which helps our mentors. We provide scholarships when they go on to college. So teammates.org, there's everything you need there to find out if you want to be a mentor. And there's 140 chapters in Nebraska and almost 200 in the 5-state region. So thanks for that opportunity. Appreciate it.
That's awesome. Last thing I got for you, again, just one of the women that this athletics department selected to honor throughout this series on football games. What does that mean to you that, you meant so much to this program and they want to honor you?
It's very humbling. I don't feel like I have really done anything beyond what I was hired to do, but I think just being a positive force for people is helpful, but I'm very humbled and very honored, and appreciative of this.
Love getting to chat with Chris Anderson, and we appreciate Bank of the West for making these Title IX spotlights possible. Women-owned businesses are vital to a thriving culture of entrepreneurship, innovation, and responsible contribution to the community and the planet. Bank of the West is proud to provide resources, training, and solutions to help you achieve your goals. Learn more at bankofthewest.com, member FDIC.
Very good. Great to hear from Chris. What a wonderful story she had, and a lot of great stories in there.
Oh, and that's just a portion. You can hear
Yeah.
the full conversation right now out on our podcast platforms.
Very good. Hey, our Sports Nightly Hotline is brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. With 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned, you can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. More of the show coming up.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
Can you name one thing that's more exciting than football in Nebraska? Okay, maybe not, but there's something that comes close. Scratch tickets from the Nebraska Lottery. That's right. Choose from a variety of play styles with huge top prizes. There's something fun for everyone. So, when football isn't on, pick up some scratch tickets from the Nebraska Lottery.
Play is good. Go play. Odds vary by game.
Subaru loves building vehicles for those who pack a lot into life. The 2023 Crosstrek is their way of saying more power to you. With 182 horsepower, you have a world of fun and adventure waiting for you. And the Crosstrek comes with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. Love is out there. Find it in a Crosstrek. 182 horsepower engine available on select models. DeToe Subaru, located at 2750 Jamie Lane in Lincoln, and online at DeToeSubaru.com.
While some seed companies put a greater stake in stock prices and anonymous shareholders, Rob Seco knows that what's important to you hits closer to home. That's why you'll find we're focused on your needs. With a simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, a relationship that makes it easy to connect with anyone in the company, and the technology, traits, and genetics you need from any source. Put your stock in the company that puts you first. Rob Seco.
Every day, Central Valley Ag supplies ranchers with calf starter to prompt maximum absorption of nutrients, so calves transition in days, not weeks. Let CVA help you formulate the right plan to ensure weaning success in your herd. Register to win 40 bags of CVA Impact Starter with Amafirm when you go online to cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Whether you compete on the court, at the track, on the field, or in the fields, winning isn't just a goal. It's a mindset, shaped, honed, and defined throughout the season. That's why farmers pushing themselves to be the best plant DeKalb brand corn. Wherever you compete, winning has roots. Perform at your best with DeKalb. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Sid Dillon Chevrolet, we help you find vehicles designed with purpose and function, prioritizing safety, technology, and the dependability you need. Visit our Chevy locations in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo to shop in-stock and inbound inventory, or to order your new vehicle. And as your Chevrolet Business Elite dealer, we offer commercial vehicles, including medium-duty trucks and low-cab forwards. Visit SidDillonChevy.com.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Chevy, find new roads.
I'm so glad we called SOS. Our AC is the coldest.
I'm always the coldest.
SOS to the rescue.
Hey, this is Dakota Crawford, wide receiver from Louisiana, now playing in Lincoln. When your AC isn't the coldest, you call SOS Heating and Cooling. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition guaranteed. Take it from the coldest. We will keep you cool this summer.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red. Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you. Final few minutes of Sports Nightly. We gave our picks earlier in the hour. I know our chat room guys do their own picks each week. Did we have a winner from that group?
Yes, got to give a shout out to Crypto, who is also watching his 245th show tonight on the chat, and it's his first time ever winning. They've been picking along with us for the last couple of seasons, and so congratulations to Crypto for his first win.
Fantastic. Good job.
He's on the revenge tour too, apparently.
Well, yeah. Maybe
with Andrew.
Maybe they're in cahoots. Andrew and Crypto.
He did like the Rocky music, so apparently.
Maybe they see. I'm telling you, there's maybe some side conversations going on between those guys. Hey, Nebraska 811 says go dig red. Before you dig, always call or click 811 to have your utility lines marked. It's free, it's easy, and it's the law. And hey, visit a participating AGCO dealer between now and November the 4th and get yourself entered for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Nebraska-Wisconsin football game here in Lincoln on November 19th. That'll include a pregame tailgate. See participating AGCO locations across Nebraska, and you could be a winner this season. Back to wrap up tonight's show next.
Husker fans, join us in celebrating excellence in women's athletics. Meet student athletes and alumni from every Nebraska women's program and commemorate the 50th anniversary of Title IX at the More is Possible Rally on Saturday, October 8th at Bolin Stadium. This event will begin at 10:30 a.m. and is free for all ages. Register today at huskers.com/Title IX.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
Every day, Central Valley Ag supplies ranchers with calf starter to prompt maximum absorption of nutrients, so calves transition in days, not weeks. Let CVA help you formulate the right plan to ensure weaning success in your herd. Register to win 40 bags of CVA Impact Starter with Amafirm when you go online to cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
To win the game, you got to have more strength. You got to be tougher. You got to be reliable. You got to want it more, than the other guy. And you need a great team you can count on, backing you up the whole time. Whether it's in the field with your Massey Ferguson or on the field with the Huskers, red is the color of getting it done quicker, smarter, and efficiently. So this season, make sure you're checking out the lineup that'll get more done where and when it counts. From your Nebraska Massey Ferguson dealers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Subaru loves building vehicles for those who pack a lot into life. The 2023 Crosstrek is their way of saying more power to you. With 182 horsepower, you have a world of fun and adventure waiting for you. And the Crosstrek comes with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. Love is out there. Find it in the Crosstrek. 182 horsepower engine available on select models. DeToe Subaru, located at 2750 Jamie Lane in Lincoln, and online at DeToeSubaru.com.
Here's to the locals, raised right here in the Western Corn Belt. The strong ones. We help them grow stronger, making world-class genetics, research, and technology local. The cutting-edge yet common-sense agronomy, the shake-em-up yields. Because we're born and raised here too, and we'll keep raising the bar to ensure you only get the best at Hoegemeyer. Raised local, raised right here. Learn more at therightseed.com.
Buckle up, put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. That's not going so well at Hibner. 3-1 Northwestern with the lead. They're nearing halftime. Huskers had taken a 1-0 lead, but 3 straight goals for the ranked Wildcats, and they lead 3-1. Pittsburgh-Cleveland tied at 7 early second quarter in the National Football League. Illinois has scored early on their first drive of the game against Tennessee-Chattanooga. The Illini lead 7-0 in a rare, really rare Thursday night Big Ten football matchup tonight. That's a little interesting. Huskers are going to play 2 games this fall yet on Fridays. They have that game coming up in a couple weeks in Piscataway against Rutgers, and then, of course, the Black Friday game against Iowa the day after Thanksgiving. All right, tomorrow night, a little Kicking Back with the Cooks. I'm ready for a new episode of that, right?
I know. The live show was such a hit, we had to drop a podcast pretty quickly after it.
Yeah.
I thought it was perfect. Someone said on our chat that watches a lot, one of the OGs, I think, said that it's like watching them at the dinner table, that we're just like creeping in on a dinner table conversation between Lauren and John. And it's just, and I said that to him when I hosted the show last week about, she can ask you questions some people
Nobody
can't.
else can.
And he said, yeah, and she sees things a lot of times that he said even I don't see as a setter and as someone that's just so intelligent about the sport. But hey, she was asked, would you coach? And she just thought it was the funniest thing ever. So apparently she's not going to be a coach.
No,
but
I don't think she wants any part of that.
I love their podcast, or I can't miss. So we're going to have a portion of it tomorrow.
It'll be fun. Leading right into the first Big Ten matchup tomorrow night as the Huskers take on Michigan State, 7 o'clock at the Devaney, 6:30 for pregame. Same time Saturday night, the Buckeyes are here. They are nationally ranked. That'll be a pretty good matchup again, 7 o'clock at the Devaney. I know our volleyball fans looking forward to heading out to Devaney for back-to-back matches this weekend, with the Husker football team having the weekend off. Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Thanks for everybody for being a part of this show tonight. Thanks to the Chancellor for coming in and talking about what was a big day with some items going in front of the Board of Regents next week. The Revenge Tour continues with Andrew. Have a great night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Good night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey, Husker fans, it's time to gear up for the season. So let's do it right. Jerseys, hats, hoodies, and more. Shields has everything you need to show your Nebraska pride. Visit our fan shop online or in-store for the biggest and best brands in the game. You'll find the right gear to level up your team spirit with all the essentials for your pregame parking lot party. Shields, proud partner of Husker Athletics and football fans everywhere.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense.
more powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
The name on the mailbox may say Smith, Myers, Baumgartner, or Johnson, but when you choose to plant with Rob Seco, it includes your name too, making you a stockholder in a company that's invested in you. With the simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, relationships that bring more to the table, the technology, traits, and genetics that take on local conditions, and people with the know-how to use it. At Rob Seco, the only stockholder we listen to is you.
Here comes the serve. Tied at 23 late in the first. Good pass, right side swing. Teeler, nice up by Matty Kubic. Now to take the lead. Bump set left, Nebraska. Krause, off hands, hit, out of bounds. That's 3 in a row. 1, 2, and 3 in a row. Krause with another put away. Nebraska's up 24-23, set one.
Hey, Huskers fans, this Saturday, join us at 6:30 as Nebraska Volleyball takes on 7th-ranked Ohio State at the Devaney.